YouTube. Thought I would tell you about my morning routine. We're just getting set here. Everyone's slowly coming into place. Cameras get in the mornings, really. It's basically very simple. Firstly, you get a coffee and breakfast. Then go over and make sure all the batteries are charged. Then have a look at the sides. Then it's just a case of deciding who you're going to mic throughout the day, because there can be several people obviously chopping and changing throughout the day. Then just make sure, hey, sub Vivek, and then it's just making sure all of this is kind of set up so people have their IFBs, and I've recharged the camera link, and I've got my time code down here. Super good, by the way, to like externally just charge this up. There's no actual separate panel, and the battery was full yesterday, and now it's just half, so it's going to last like 2 days, which is going to be super useful. Then it's all about figuring out what shots they're going to get, what coverage they're going to get, and just generally just kind of start to get into it. It's kind of generally, I don't go super detailed throughout like the whole day, like straight away. Obviously skim over and see if there's any kind of general issues, but they sent us an advanced schedule, and I know the kind of problematic scenes already off the hand. It's ice entertainment. So then it's just a case of today, because we had super wide shots, we eventually went cabled with the super CMIT, which is super useful actually on preset 2 as well as just a guide, because it was literally like a wide of the whole entire camp. So we don't have the wireless on yet, but we'll only use the wireless I guess once we start getting into more close-up stuff, and if it starts to get really noisy. There's actually some kennels next door, but thankfully shooting in a war zone, all the kind of dog noises, that kind of stuff, makes it super easy to hide with explosions and that kind of thing. So that's pretty much it.
But you really want to go in cameras.
Yeah, you really want to go in camera. Although, speaking of camera, time code, camera link. It's pretty funky. And this is Johnny. Live stream. So yeah, and that's pretty much morning routine, really. We already have, obviously, because we've been shooting now like 10, this is day 13 or something, so we already know all the actors in terms of how we're rigging them, all our main cast. We have like 10 people in the main cast, so it is pretty easy just to set them all up. We have a few day players as well coming in with odd lines. We're actually starting to shoot the start of the film now. We just did scene 1 and 2 yesterday, and now we're starting with scene 3, 5, 6 and 8. So yeah, it's all, once it's kind of chronological as well, kind of makes it easier to kind of patch it all together in your head as well. So, and otherwise it's just generally taking in perspective of whatever the camera's getting, figuring out the rest of the coverage, and getting any wild tracks you need as well. So that's pretty much it. Just in time for a little plane as well. Bane of my life.